Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of Skyrender Studios video game reviews. My name is Michael aka Mezco and today I'm here with The Sims 4. The Sims 4 is, of course, the fourth installment of the popular Sims series. Sims 3 was launched almost exactly 4 years ago, and after a ridiculous amount of far-from-free expansions, aka DLC, aka nickel and dime you to death bullshit, Maxis and EA Games have teamed up once again to bring us the latest installment of this hugely popular and, debatably fun game series. So, now the question on everybody's mind is The Sims 4 worth it? Unfortunately, I'm not here to make that decision for you, but I am here to help you make a bit of a more informed one, as well as give you my own thoughts on the game. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, I'm not going to waste your guys' time by telling you exactly what this game is about or how the gameplay is, because honestly, if you haven't played any of the Sims games before, just go onto any of your mobile devices, Android, Kindle Fire, or Apple, and download the Sims Free Play for free. If you don't know what the Sims games are at all, then you've been living under a rock for the past 14 years, and I don't know what to do for you. I don't know, get on the internet now and then, play some games, live a little. So, on that note, throughout the years, from the first ever Sims released all the way back in 2000 to The Sims 3 released in the fall of 2010, the base gameplay of the Sims series of games hasn't changed dramatically. We all know that it's about pretending you're somebody else with a better life and you spend hours on end living vicariously through your Sim to escape the real misery in your real life, or you have a god complex and like to watch, control, and squish Sims like little digital ants beneath your conniving sadistic thumb. This game has got a lot of good going for it, but then there's still a number of things that I really wish they would have addressed by now. Like I said, it's been 14 years. If that doesn't make you feel old, I don't know what else will. Alright guys, so we're going to get right into the pros of this game. Forgiving this portion's a little bit longer than you're used to, but that's a good thing for those of you considering buying this game to know that there's a lot of plus parts of this game that I like, and I'm always really brutally honest with my video game reviews, promise. So, first and foremost, the character customization, the Create a Sim. By the way, there's a free demo out for free download, for free, on Origin, free. Go ahead and free download that and give it a shot if you haven't already, and if you're still considering buying this game. But I love that there are no more sliders for the character customization. Now you can point, click, and drag on exactly what part of your Sim you want to edit, including their body. I love that about it. It makes it much more personable. You can really fine-tune your Sim and get it to look exactly how you want it to. And the other thing I really like is that the hats don't take away your hair. That's pretty much it. No sliders and hats don't take away your hair. It only took them 14 years to figure out how to do that, but I'm glad that they finally did it, so I'm not complaining. They've also added a decent amount of features and functionality to the build and buy sections of The Sims 4. One of the best ones being that there is no longer loading screen or any sort of loading really between F2 and F3, which before were build and buy. Well, now they are still build and buy, or rather buy and build, but now there's no loading in between them. Now they're seamlessly put together in just one F2 area, and I love it. They've also made a lot of controls a little bit more user-friendly in a way that I can't quite pinpoint, and you just kind of have to experience to understand, but things just feel so much more seamless, and it makes the building and buying aspect of The Sims 4 more about fun and less about it being a chore. And one of my favorite things about the build and buy area of The Sims 4 is that now they have pre-made rooms for your household. Now onto the actual gameplay parts of The Sims 4, I really love the multitasking system that they've implemented in this one. It makes your Sim feel that much more alive, that much less like an NPC or a non-player controlled entity inside of the game. Now they actually feel like real people, or at least closer to real people. One of the best things about the multitasking system is the socializing part of it. Now instead of watching all of the interactions between your Sims clumped up in this giant queue, now they get clumped up into a single bubble and they just seamlessly work themselves out, and half the time you don't even realize that they were talking about it, but it makes their interactions and their chatting feel that much more natural. And one more thing that they've added is the automation. That's not necessarily a new thing, but they've improved on it here in The Sims 4. And part of the automation that makes them feel much more real is the way that your Sims are influenced, their moods. For example, if your Sim feels much more focused, he'll be much more apt to do things that a focused person would want to do. Say, for example, study or be on the computer, practicing their programming, what have you, or if they're influenced by a romance novel or something romantic on TV, they'll be that much more apt to go flirt with somebody, and it's great. It makes them feel that much more lifelike. And now on to my favorite part of these video game reviews, the cons of this game, the bad parts, the parts that suck. But before I get to that, I want to thank you guys for watching this video this far. Thank you for sticking it out with me. I know it's been a little bit lengthy. If you like it, please make sure you show us you do by hitting that thumbs up or like button below, and make sure you subscribe to us. We'll be putting videos out like this every week and reviewing the games that you ask for. So without further ado, the bad parts of The Sims 4. So one of the biggest things that I didn't like about The Sims 4 is that there's two whole neighborhoods, but both of them feel extremely small. For example, there's not a lot of residential lots for you to build on top of or existing ones, but the worst part is there's not a lot of community lots, and the community lots that are there, I don't feel like there's a lot going on. I also really didn't like that sleeping and advancing your skills is still really boring. At least when your sim goes to work, you have the occasional A or B decision to make, but now we're still sitting here staring at a time lapse of my sim scratching his balls. I also didn't feel like there were enough career paths, or the current career paths were just really boring. Another thing that I didn't like, and I kind of understand the reasoning behind it, but I just don't like it, is the interactions with other sims are sometimes random. Your sim wants to do a certain action or interaction with that sim, but you have to keep clicking it and clicking off of them to find that exact interaction. And sometimes it can be really frustrating. Another thing that I didn't like is that you can't set beds or lock doors like you could in The Sims 3. And two quick things for the build and buy features: Shift plus Bulldoze no longer works on an entire room. It'll work on an entire room's flooring, but it won't take down the entire room and everything in it like it used to. Another thing I didn't like in the build and buy section of the game is they took away the skin customization for styles or objects and clothing, or on objects and clothing. Before, you could go into there and change every little detail about it, and me, being a customization freak, I love that feature about The Sims 3. They took that away in Sims 4. Now that's not to say that the current ones aren't good, because they are. I just miss having that freedom. And last but not least, and let me know in the comments section below on whether or not you agree with me on this, but I want multiplayer for The Sims. For the longest time, hell, for as long as I can remember and as long as me and my friends have been playing The Sims, we have always wanted our Sims to interact in a way where we can control them. Now, I understand there's a lot of things that go into that, and there's pros and cons of it, and it would just be chaos, and it would be hectic, but it's been 14 years. Where is the multiplayer? And if you guys don't agree with that, or if you do agree with that, please let me know in the comments below. Alright guys, time for our last thoughts. So, all in all, this game is pretty much exactly like every year's new iPhone. It's exactly what you think it is, just a little bit better. Let me say that again. This game is just another Sims game. The base gameplay is fun, albeit Simsy, but the game doesn't give too many oohs and ahs and improvements since the last installment. I'm impressed at the new features that were put in, but equally disappointed at how small the world is, although I'm sure EA will fix that here shortly, by a little bit, for $20, and then a little bit more, for another $20. But honestly, this game is exactly what I thought it would be. It's solid, it's fun, and I was actually kind of hard-pressed to find anything deal-breakingly wrong with it. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and give The Sims 4 an 8 out of 10. I would love to recommend this game outright, but I feel like my recommendation needs to be conditional. First of all, it's $60. I feel like EA Games is one of the last companies on earth to understand the state of things and how cheap we gamers have gotten because of it. $60 was once the standard of things when Call of Duty was still fun, but nowadays as gamers have grown up, we no longer have expendable income. $60 is no longer the standard video game price, and in our minds, $60 reads more as more than half of $100, which translates to a lot of damn money, and it is. I do really enjoy this game, but before you make a decision on buying it, if you still are, then ask yourself the following 3 questions. 1. Was The Sims 3 and every expansion I bought for it afterwards worth it? If it was, then 2. Are you willing to purchase any number of the inevitable expansions that will come out for it later? And 3. How often am I going to actually play this? If your answer to that last question is often, if you're a bit of a Sims head, or if you know that you'll get your money's worth out of the countless hours you always spend in Sims games, then yes, this game is for you and I highly recommend it. If your answer is not often, then don't. I would recommend saving your $60 for a different upcoming game, but let's be honest, we've had about a 2-year dry spell in the gaming world and it doesn't look like it's getting any better, and we're all getting a little hard pressed to find something good to play. So, I don't know, take that $60 and, I don't know, pay your bills? Put it in some stock? I don't know, what do adults do? Alrighty guys, well thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you like it and subscribe to our channel. Let me know if you guys disagree or agree with my review in the comments below, and most importantly, let us know which game you'd like for us to review next. Until then, see you guys next time.